Rahubag Yasar, Ranenni Kuwun, Nasat Huntwy Sanan Atum Rayay, a student teacher of the master teacher, Nabab Yaanuwn, the being incarnated in this day and time to resurrect the Nagaru Salau, the Negroid race, to give us our spiritual science of Wu-Nuwaup. We as a people have accepted other people's ways, cultures, religions, belief systems, morals, ethics. Our master teacher, Dr. Malachi Kobina Zodak York, also known as Nabab Yaanuwn, has come giving us a culture, a way of life, something that is for us, by us. This is very important because, again, we as a people, no matter how black you paint Jesus, you'll never be higher than the Pope. He is the highest Christian on the planet. No matter how black you paint Muhammad, the Saud family still controls Mecca. No matter how black you paint Moses, the Jews of Israel are still in control of that religion. These ways of life, these cultures, these religions are not for us. They are created outside of Afaf Reye Ka'au, or Africa. It's about getting back into our culture, Wu-Nuwaup. We're going to begin today with today's study entitled The Physical Ethers. My beloved Nuwaupians of Wu-Nuwaup, Nabab Yaanuwn greets you all with divine love and peace. At this moment in our time, in our past, or as we called it, Zetepi, which is short for before Anos, we have kept records of all that was to become on this planet, Sector 24, of those humanoids with 24,000 genomes. We lodge by way of physical ethers and mental ethers for each humanoid creature are each unique in their own way. When we speak of my ether, we are speaking of species of each race, each with their own unique characteristics, both physically and mentally, their own unique traits. 9 ether on the physical means 9 species or 9 different characteristics of the African Negroid race. 8 ether for the Aborigines has 8 different characteristics of their own race. 7 ether for the Indians, 7 different characteristics of their own race. You can see this with each race clearly. The same for each of the other races. 8 ether for the Aborigine has 8 different characteristics of their race. You can see this with each race clearly. Now, Nuwaupians. When it comes to the 6 and 5 ethers, for the male race of the Caucasoid, their female has 6 different characteristics, while their male has only 5 different characteristics of their own, because they were grafted and made by their extraterrestrials they call God. That means they will find or uncover 6 different species of the male of the white race. Yet, they will find 6 in all unrelated genetically, except by mixing as they did over time when they came upon others in Europe. For both their males and their females mix with others. Many have already been uncovered of their race, as that is all the white race really seeks to uncover: their own history, his story, primate, shaggies such as Cro-Magnon and Neanderthal. Yet there are 4 others. Adamite race, Homo sapien, the white race before the Adamites, were crafted and made. As to the Asians, each of their 3 races, also unique: Chinese, Sanan, Japan, Japans or Japanese, Korean, Koreans, has their own 3 ethers or 3 different characteristics of the Asians race. Of all races, they have protected their genes. As for the hybrids, mixed races, they are the 4 ether physical beings, and they will have 4 different characteristics in sub-races, and because of them being the results of much race mixing and mingling by the Caucasoids with all the others, you will find many diverse characteristics among the sub-races or hybrids of the persons on Earth. No matter how light-skinned they are, not white. The physical ethers has nothing to do with being good or evil, benevolence or malevolent. It only deals with the amount of different characteristics, or humanoids on the planet Earth with their 24,000 genomes. This planet's 24 million light billion years in diameter. So you see the link to the number 24 as 24,000 year equinox, 24 hours in the time cycles, 24 weeks in the womb of the mother until the spark of conscious, 24,000 miles in the Earth's circumference. Number 24 in Earth's number, as is 4 6,000 year cycles. Each year onward, more and more bones will be uncovered and show and prove Europeans are from not one single gene pool, yet 6 different gene pools. They are being and will be uncovered in Africa, Asia, India, and Australia, which are not the same gene pool. However, many will show signs of mixing of genes by the human savage race, that it was used by extraterrestrials for genetic experiments and crossbreeding with animals, such as mixing Caucasoids with simians, 48 chromosomes, Canaanites, dogs, 78 chromosomes, porcines, hogs, 38 chromosomes. Not all even numbers, as humanoids, which have 46 chromosomes, done in order to critique a certain part of their unnatural nature to be trained and used for special purposes. So a beast man was grafted and made, uncivilizable, flesh eater, carnivore. He became a cannibal, as his makers who were carnivores and cannibals themselves. They were wicked, evil, aggressive, hostile, and violent toward all other races. Killer, rapists, thieves, liars, disease, devils. All this is found of them in their own records of history and their own religious books, the Bible and others, as well as Quran, to the Book of Mormons, exposed to you in Wu-Nuwaup from 1970 AD. Up to right now, their wicked, evil, destructive, chaotic, unnatural nature. They are heathens, savages, and can't be trusted with your lives. They were made to fight and kill all others. Their whole world and way of life is only based on the propagation and spreading of their evil, devilish lifestyle, be it by political or media or educational means. 1. Lust and perversion, sex of all kinds. 2. Intoxicants, drugs, drinks, smokes of all kinds. 3. Gambling and challenging of all kinds. 4. Fighting and wars of all kinds. 5. Corruption and crimes of all kinds. 6. Lies, fabrication, religions, fairy tale, fictions of all kinds. As is clear in their own Bible, Genesis chapter 6, verse 5, and I quote, that the sons of God saw the daughters of men, that they were fair, and they took them wives of all which they chose. Every imagination of the thoughts of the Adamites, white race, heart was and is only evil continually. It's their unnatural nature. Also, it's clear in their Bible, Genesis chapter 3, verse 15, and I quote, and I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. That their maker, that put enmity, racism in them for all other haters. That is why they hate other races, seeking to fight, war, and kill others, taking their land and wealth and genes. Two ether are specters, jinns, shapeshifters, who can only come in two forms of spirit they call one, Holy Ghost or spirits, two, unholy ghosts or spirits, who can take on human form called angels in their religions, haunting both persons and places. One ether beings are demons who can't take on physical forms, yet can affect the physical. Lives of living by possession. Walk-ins transform a normal person into an insane, demonic killer or worse. Familiar spirits who must be welcomed into the host by rituals in many temples, churches, and mosques, while they pray to spirits. They don't know and call their God Lord, Saint, the dead. They can take the form of living beings and animals, even statues and pictures, idols, or deceive the devoted in the living world take over. The two ether beings, or specters, jinns, can also take on the form of family members, or saints, prophets, Christ, or any other religious figures you seek to deceive the unknowing as angels, or blessed Mother Mary, even Jesus' image, that they think he looks like and dressed. Many come into the world by satanic rituals, Wiccans, voodoo, witchcraft, the use of spirit boards, Ouija boards, die book boxes, or Halloween fright cinemas. They enter this world many ways, and most have no clue that their fear invites them in them, and then depart them into this realm as apparitions, shadow persons, or ghouls at graveyards. They welcome in many ways, such as you read in the Bible, 1 Samuel chapter 28, verse 3 through 15, or as it says in John chapter 11, verse 14, and 38 through 34, and also where Moses, who was dead, Deuteronomy chapter 34, verse 7, and I quote, "And Moses was 120 years old when he died. His eyes was not dim, nor his natural force abated. Yet he rose from the dead to be with Jesus and Elijah," in Matthew chapter 17, verse 2 through 3. Quote, "And was transfigured before them, and his face did shine as the sun, and his raiment was white as the light. So the dead can come back, yet when the gateway is open, evil and good can cross over into this world. Genesis chapter 28, verse 11 through 12. Quote, "And he dreamed, and behold, a ladder set up on the earth, and the top of it reached to heaven. And behold, the angels of God ascending and descending on it." Or Luke chapter 10, verse 18, quote, "And he said unto them, I behold Satan as lightning fall from heaven." 2 Corinthians chapter 1, verse 14, "As also ye have acknowledged us in part, that we are your rejoicing, even as ye also are ours in the day of the Lord Jesus." Most religions in languages that don't really speak or understand unknowing invite spirits, specters, into their lives daily. So the ether from 9 to 1 ether is not good and evil or more powerful than one another. Devils come in all races. The ether 0 and the material is 1, and of equal to double becomes helium, the sun, onto carbon, the base of life and matter, from hydrogen or atomic element number 1 on up to the atomic chart of material things of this physical world, atoms and cells, and ether and spirits. 9 ether, black seed, both genders. 8 ether, brown seed, both genders. 7 ether, brown seed, both genders. 6 ether, red and white seed, female gender. 5 ether, white, red seed, male gender only. 4 ether, mixed seeds, both genders. 3 ether, yellow seed, both genders. 2 ether, amber seed, asexual. 1 ether, colorless, asexual. Nothing, no weight, nothingness. Something, some weights, some things, SUM. When you look at each race and their physical ether or multi-characteristics, you will note out of all others, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4 ethers, these are many different characteristics. Yet, when you look at the 3 ether races of Asians, they have the least diverse characteristics. Many look alike. That is because they have the strongest unmixed and mingled by the Caucasoids race, and you find that the 9 ether race or even sub-races more than all others. And all of the 4 ether hybrids, they are many sub-races, of them world over neutrinoid. They are the most confused as to who they really are, what they have become to accept about themselves, as taught them by the white race, who invaded and took over their genes, yet will never really accept them as one of their own white race. Because of the European invading others' lands and bodies mixing, their disease seed you have many four-ether physical people, such as 1. American Indians, 2. Hispanics of North, South, and who came here mixed with Africans who came here, and later Europeans who came to Americas. 3. Northeast and West Africans in Egypt, Libya, Algeria, Morocco, Western Sahara. Many of them think they're of the white race, of sixth ether, and are not accepted by the true pure blood Caucasians or Caucasoids. And many of them think they're their own race called Spanish, Latino. And they're not all a new separate race. They're a sub-race of the black race and brown and yellow races. It is all being exposed in time with DNA, genomes, chromosomes, genes that don't lie. In time, it will all revert back to the original seeds. Even among many American Negroes, and after the slave trade and rapes, as well as African Americans mixing, and the Arabs of Arabia who invaded East Africa set up trading posts to enslave Africans and took females, mixed their Arab subrace with the Africans, the result of mulattoes or morenos, Moorish Negroes, with Berber of Moroccan deserts who transported African slaves from Tanzania and also mixed with those in Africa's east coast, such as Somalia, Kenya, Sudan, Eritrea, Nubia. All the mixing by Arabs resulting in mixed seeds also found in Europe and many islands of the Caribbean. Mixed seeds, so the 6 and 5 ether, as well as their subraces, such as the Arabs, have mixed with many other races the world over. The Europeans set out to make a new breed from 1600 AD to 2000 AD, or 400 years, 4 generations. The results is in a new Euro-Negroid who thinks, talks, and acts like their slave masters. Again, many light-skinned Negroids think they're accepted into the white race and societies in the western part of the world today, and that they're new when they're not. They're black and brown. So in actual fact, Nuwaupians of Wu-Nuwaup, we are called human beings because our race comes in many hues, shades, and even albinos, melaninites. I, Nabab Yaanuwn, have not come in flesh to teach you what was never taught by any before me, that you will finally know not what you were called, yet who you are really. The 9 ether beings, both physically and mentally, on this planet Earth today. Many species have faded away in the past, And right now, the last race, or whites, are becoming extinct or extinguished. The Anamites, Canaanites, and their sub-tribes found in their Bibles and Quran, who only have been given 6,000 years, and is now, after 2000 AD, on their last seed, the ruddy-skinned or freckled face, green-eyed, red to orange fur, called gingers, as most of their true pale skin faced, with flush blue eyes and yellow thin fur, hair called blondes, are fading, as did the true Nordics, with their transparent pale skin, silver white eyes, transparent fur, hair called Norse, are all but few gone already. The white race was the last race made on the planet Earth 4,000 BCE, or 6,000 years ago. And they will be the first to become extinct, as you see happening now, from the year 2000 AD, the end of their 6,000-year dominion. Genesis chapter 1, verse 26 through 27. And God said, "Let us make man in our image, and after our likeness, and let them have dominion over the fish of the sea, and over the fowl of the air, and over the cattle, and over all the earth, and over every creeping thing that creepeth upon the earth." So God created man in his own image. In the image of God created he him. Male and female created he them. The evil race's extinction is upon them, and they know it's the end of 5 ether beings and their 6 species. Their Bible and Quran list their seed from their God. Luke chapter 3, verse 38, which was the son of Enos, which was the son of Seth, which was the son of Adam, which was the son of God. Back and down to Adam from Jesus. Luke chapter 32, verse 23 through 38. Matthew chapter 1, verse 1 through 18. Name by name, only thousands of years, not millions, as bones found in Africa's south, the oldest race, blacks. Truth is truth. Souls and spirits, females and males, past, future. Mitochondria DNA. Soul, Ba, equals energy. Soul, Rawah, equals motion. Female, male, past, future. Spirit, Ka, equals Al-Kriti. Spirit, Nafash, equals person. Of the black race, 9 ether, both gender, has souls, spirits, and ethers. Feminine protects our past, while masculine protects our future. Males come out of females, so his body, spirit, soul is from her. The exact same for the brown ether, the yellow ether, yet not for the red and white ether beings, because They have no soul like all other animals and beasts. They live by 6 ether: body, spirit, extinct. That's today's study. It's a lot of powerful stuff in there. The master teacher is bringing us up to speed to our present school of Wu-Nuwaup, where we know that the beings who were created in the biblical and Quranic stories have nothing to do with us and was the creation of the Caucasoid race. This is something that's very important that we as a people must understand, because we feel being indoctrinated by the Caucasoid as they propagated their religious teachings, have given validity to their religious books, and we as a people feel that in order to be significant or validated, that we have to find our place in their books, which in fact is not the case. Those stories of religion are the stories of their gravitation, as the master explains, that when you, in their genealogical chart, going from who they refer to as Jesus all the way back to Adam, only goes back thousands of years. And our story, which is being uncovered in Africa, we are dating back 7, 8, 9 million years. Follow? So our story, our existence goes far beyond that. Are there any questions before we move on to the update?
Okay, just to be correct, black people, brown people, and yellow people are the only people who have souls, and Caucasians don't have any at all, correct?
Right.
Okay.
But that doesn't mean necessarily that if you, because certain people have surrendered their soul.
Right.
If they have given their soul over to 6 ether beings, and they have these 6 ether beings utilize their soul because they can't travel on the spiritual side. So everyone who is of those different seeds, different ethers, from the black, the brown, the yellow ether, don't necessarily have soul if they have surrendered it over.
Okay, and also for clarification, the Caucasian females, can they obtain a soul, or how does that work out?
Well, yes. Remember, the master teacher explained that the Caucasoid female can be converted by way of the genetic kiss. Basically, if she is with a Nagaru, because of her mitochondria, she is able to be transformed from what the master refers to as Femi 6 to Femi 9. You follow? So she actually can be saved in that sense. This is why in this study he explains that it's really, you're talking about the death of those 5 ether beings.
Right, right.
You follow? Because the Femi 6 can be converted to Femi 9 or transformed.
All right, Tawad.
Hutem Tat Borazi.
Rahubat. Is it possible that even though they surrendered their soul to the Gakasa, they can claim it, they can receive it back?
Yes, it is. Even in their yes, it is. Because what the master explained is that even though they surrendered their soul, it can't be taken until they die. So while they're still alive, they still have the ability to regain their soul. Even that's part of the Psalms. He restoreth my soul. You follow? So the soul can be reclaimed or can be getting back, and this is part of what we as Nuwaupians what part of our job is to get people back unto the soul, resurrect them back again with our culture and our way of life.
Okay, my next question is, do a young, say for instance, black man render himself to a Hikakasset female and she transformed, does he lose his soul at that point?
What the master explained is that in saving her, he sacrifices himself. You follow? So
how do he get his soul back if did he go mix back with another African to get his?
What the master explained is that, especially us here in America, he explained it in many of the updates as well as in the actual facts, that we need to mix with the pure African seed to really, because you got to understand our resurrection of eliminating the devil or the Caucasoid gene out of our existence, out of our genetics, is a breeding process. You follow? This is not something that happens instantaneously just by you picking up a book. The process of us resurrecting our race, the Nagaru race, the supreme race, is through the process of what the master explained in Genetic Kiss as the science of sex. And the science of sex deals with passing on the optimum genetics to your offspring. You follow? So in passing on the optimum genetics to your offspring, this is a breeding process that happens for generations. This is a process that we have to take on, and many of us being the in the beginning stages of resurrecting this culture, we have to take on that responsibility to get things started, because we even here, this is our temple, it's beautiful, but we still live in the devil's world. You follow? And in living in the devil's world, we're not able to fully live our culture. You follow? So there are certain things that we have to slowly, gradually get back to resurrect our culture. You know, this is not an instantaneous thing. This not happens like the movies within a 2-hour or a 90-minute span. Everything is all good. You know what I'm saying? So we have to, this is a process. It's like, for instance, we're dealing with the language of Nuwaupic. You follow? You and I have been raised in America. We think in English, actual fact. Our job is to learn the language, speak it, teach it to our children so they think in Nuwaupic. Again, that's a process that happens over time. And we have to get these things started to really live and resurrect our culture. Follow what I'm saying?
Sure.
Any other questions?
Rahubat, yes, sir.
Rahubat.
My question is this. So for those spirits that knows to shape shift, can they shape shift in our Nataru?
You said can
They, yes.
Can they shapeshift into Nataru?
Yes, looking like the Nataru, like our Salafu?
I can say this. One thing that the master said, especially with dealing with himself, he said that when you see him in a vision or dreams of that nature, he says no being has the ability to take on his form in that realm. Follow? As far as the other Nataru, I haven't heard him explain that, but I specifically remember him saying that. So, but the main thing is that's important is that when we, as Nagaru, pray to these other 6 ether forces, they have the ability to take on the images of what we want them to be. And this is something he explained in the actual fact image of the beast. And, you know, a lot of people may, because that book has been out for a while, may have put it down, but if you go back and read it, you'll see that's one of the things he explains, is that those beings utilize those different religious schools to emulate those beings, because you got to think of this way. We are really spirit beings.
Yes.
Right? In a body. And just like you, other people around us, they have the ability to give misinformation. You follow? Whether it's intentionally or accidentally. So when you encounter or trying to travel into spirit realm, and you encounter disembodied spirits, they also have the ability to give misinformation. You follow? So they take on these different images, these different forms, in order to utilize you to fulfill whatever desire that they have. The Master explained many years ago in Is There Eternal Life After Death? And he explained that there are disembodied spirits all around us. And they have a desire for the physical world, but can't fulfill it because they don't have a body. So they utilize you to jump in. He says some jump in and leave, some jump in and stay, and utilize you to fulfill their desire for the physical world. Follows? That's how, because he said that those beings do that, many of them do that, until they can burn out that desire. Because he said life in itself is a burning. Follow? That burning, and they have to burn out that desire in order to travel to higher spiritual realms. But it's, again, back to your original question, I haven't heard the Master explain it in that way, or that specific question. That's something that we have to ask him. But I do know that he said, for him specifically, beings don't have the ability to take on his form in that realm. Any other questions? All right, we'll get right into the updates. Rahubag Yasar. It says, the three strongest of the physical concerning characteristics are the Magalu. Why? Because they are the least mixed into as a race and have the least variations, being 3, yet have less melanin than Makasu. Panagaru, the Negroid, having 9, have the most variations, being the most mixed with ethers, and seats are not the same thing. In the instance, I am speaking about variations of physical characteristics. However, the Sans people are the highest of the Nagaru. Excuse me. A lot of this, again, was explained in the study that we just read. This is actually part of an update that was given a few weeks ago. And now with that, the study that we've just read, we got more clarity on that point. We understand that a little better. 2, you have the Ba and you have the Rawah. The Ba is like a whirlwind, and the Ruach is the breath. Yet one part, then you have the Ka'a and the Nafas, which are 2 parts as well, yet make you one personality. 3, it has been asked about the soul, and do women have them? People are actually confusing the old doctrine, which is male-based, with the new, women had souls first and gave them to their sons. 4. The planet was divided into 2 parts, Africa, Iraq, and Arabia on one side, and the Red Sea. Earth was divided into 2 parts. There were 2 poles or obelisks in South Africa, and there was a fence that was used to keep the herbivores from the carnivores. Once the planet shifted from the 23-degree axis, the fence that was like electromagnetic, it came down and carnivores mixed in with herbivores. 5. Hawa or Eve. Eve's people were of South Africa called Cush. Natural nature is not in support of the Adamite race and is the reason she has been trying to shake them off her back. 6. We can eat chicken, hens, duck, ostrich, turkey, basically all fowl. We do not eat bovine because it is blood meat, and the bovine are sacred to us as the ibex, buffalo, apis bull. 7. The 3 stars of Orion also correspond with the 3 religions, Egypt, Yoruba, and the Dogons, all coming from Egypt. 8. It is dangerous for cops to think that they can take on the gangs in Chicago. They may take out many members, yet more cops will be gone as well. And that was the updates for this week. Are there any questions?
Rahubadya, sir. Well, this is not exactly a question in reference to the updates, but what I would like to say, make mention is that I know I'm speaking for myself, and I know there's a lot here also would think the same, but we would like to get some more information on the master teachers, how he's doing on the visits when they go to see him on a weekly basis, and how he's faring. We would like to know how he is doing and how, how he was.
Right.
And if you can, relate the messages to the wives that goes to see him, and let us know something, on a weekly, because they go every week to see him, and we're not hearing nothing. We're not hearing anything about how he's doing, how he's faring. We want to hear something. I mean, we're getting the updates, but we want to hear more about him also, how he's doing.
Right.
That's what I have to say. Thank you very much.
Right. That's definitely, because we all here who love the master teacher definitely want to know how he's doing. But, a lot of times you have to understand that it is a blessing to be able to get the words of the master teacher, especially in his current situation. And we have to just be thankful that we are able to get those things. And a lot of times, if of course he's in a situation where there's ups and downs.
Of course,
right?
Yes.
He's in a situation, there's ups and downs. He's suffering from an angioedema. You follow? Mm-hmm. And a lot of times that, panic doesn't want to be spread if he's going through some situation. You got to understand that.
I understand that, but it's not every week.
Right.
Panic. It's not every week, but also if you crack a joke with them, how he's, we would like to hear a little something like that.
You have to understand
is
this
what we
as well.
want. That's our food.
But you have to understand that, a lot of times a visit is like 6 hours.
That's a lot. That's good.
And
what?
it's
and it's a privilege.
If you understand the way that the master teacher teaches, that in 6 hours, the volumes of information could be passed, and individuals, it's not easy to retain all of that. And but back to your point, that when we are receiving these updates, because this is one of the main concerns that the master teachers has, is that this information gets out.
Oh, definitely.
You follow? And to know that he is able to give it to us puts you in mind that he's at least in the condition to spread this information to us, and has enough care and compassion for us to continue to give even in his present situation.
Yes, all of that is understood, but
And
we
this
would
is,
just like to get a little more.
but
You know,
I
to know
would
how
definitely
he's
pass
doing
that
fair.
on.
You understand? Tawat.
Yeah, but you know, but we have to, you know, realize that it's definitely a great thing for us to be able to get this information, especially with the master teacher in his current condition. You know, it's definitely our job not just to spread Wu-Nuwaup, but also to fight for his freedom, because that is paramount as well. Because regardless of how much outformation we get, with the things that are befalling the planet, without our guide to put us in the right place at the right time, you know, it's not a good look for us. Follow?
When you was reading about that, an update about you could eat certain meats, but in that I know of, that Nabab said we're not supposed to eat anything with the mother or father. But in the update you just gave, that they could eat like chicken or whatever. You know, so.
Well, when it comes to your dietary laws, one of the things that the master teacher explained even years ago, we was on, it's still in Atlanta, or still in the Georgia. He said, you as a person or an individual have to do or study what is called inclination, right? And that's basically what you are inclined to do. You follow? He said that many of us have been acclimated to becoming carnivores. And just as he explained in the update, that in Africa there was a electromagnetic gate that's basically separated the herbivores from the carnivores. When the planet shifted on the axis, there was a mixing, right? And some of us have carnivorous genes. Now, he explained that in studying your body, you know what is best for you, or you should study what is best for you. You should study the diet that you should take, because this is one reason why the master teacher has not given a universal diet, is because we are so mixed. We all have so many different genetics within us. Follow? So, as he said, that there are certain things you can eat, certain things you shouldn't eat. But it's still up to you to decide what it is that you want to eat. If you don't want to eat any animals, don't eat animals. There's nothing that says you have to eat this, you have to eat that. The master teacher, being the master, there's, again, when he reveals certain things, we don't know why he's saying what he's saying at the time. It may come out later. You follow? So we just have to be patient and follow the words and advice of the master teacher. But you know, you are right and exact in saying that there was certain beings who didn't eat food with parents. But again, as time changes, as things change, certain information changes for whatever reason, until the master reveals why certain things are the way they are, we have to be patient. Go ahead. All right, quick update. Saturday, December 26, 2015, right here at Paprar, 719 Bushwick Avenue, we are celebrating Haradu Zamut, Children's Day. Please join Wu-Nuwaupu Mujrusu Tashrak on that date as we welcome all to our 4th annual Haradu Zamut, or Children's Day, a fun day filled with festivities for the whole family. We hope to see you all there. You're here, 717 Bushwick Avenue, starting at 3 p.m.
Rahubat, there's some more that I'd like to add to that, also in bringing gifts for the kids from ages 0, I think, up to 13, you know, bring gifts, and also if the sisters can, you know, bring a dish, you know, bring a dish and make this a very pleasant and happy day for the kids.
Yes, but if you bring a gift, if you choose to bring a gift for children up to age 13, if you wrap it, make sure you label it for what age and what sex or gender for the child, for the gift. So, you know, we want to make this definitely a festive, fun thing for children, because the day is all about the children. It's literally children. This is why the master teacher, as the reformer, resurrecting or correcting a holiday that the Makasu has used basically as a tool for his sixth ether agenda, the master teacher, because I know for myself, I knew nothing about Satan's claws when I was growing up. I just cared about getting some toys. You follow? And he said that if he basically explained years ago that if you're going to, for instance, if you're going to take all the pork out of your parents' refrigerator, you better be able to replace it with something. You follow? So if we're going to take away Christmas from our children, we're going to have to replace it with something. And that's what the master teacher did in his infinite wisdom to give us Children's Day, or Haradu Zamut. You follow? So we hope to see you all there. I'd like to thank everyone for coming out this shadow. Those who braved the cold. Tawad. Wado.